When I was learning guitar, I dealt with a lot of 7 chords just really by learning the shapes of the chords, and that was enough, and it's fine to do that. But today in this lesson I want to take you a step further into understanding 7th chords in its basic form and how they can be used and understood really easily and used around the neck. So first of all, we're going to understand what we are doing when we construct a chord, and that is basically taking from any major scale. If we're looking at an E flat major chord, you're looking at the E flat major scale. If you're looking at a G major chord, it's the G major scale. So you take that major scale and you take the 1, the 3, and the 5 out of that scale, by which I mean the 1st, the 3rd, and the 5th notes in that scale, and that creates the most basic kind of chord, which is called a triad. 3 notes, triad. 1, 3, 5. Basic stuff, right? But it's good to understand. If you want to take it a step beyond that and add another note, you'll get to what we call a 7th chord. And we call it a 7th chord because we're taking the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7, following that formula of just jumping over every second note. 1, 3, 5, 7. That's a 7th chord. Now, what that means is that you are giving that chord an extra flavor. A triad has a basic flavor, 1, 3, and 5. The 5 doesn't give us a great deal of information until we start getting into more complicated chords like half diminished chords and augmented chords, but we'll get to that in another video. Next week, I'm going to take this all a step further. This week is about basic chords. So 1, 3, and 5. 5 doesn't give us a lot of information, but it's solid. It's what we use in a power chord, which is why power chords are written D5, G5, because it's the root note and the 5. The 3 does give us some information. If it's a major 3, which is a natural 3, which is an unaltered 3, which is just written as a 3, it's a major sound. It's a major chord. It's a major key. It's a major scale. If it's a flattened 3, it's a minor chord, scale, key. Anytime you see that flat 3, that gives you a great indication that it's a minor chord, key, or scale. So in a chord, if you've got a 1, 3, 5, it's a major triad. If it's a 1, flat 3, 5, it's a minor triad. Now, when we add the 7, magic stuff happens and the chord starts to sound more complex and more interesting, and that's what we're going to do today. So the D major scale, which is what we're going to use today because the D major chord is a really useful little shape and a simple way to see how this 7th note affects our chord. The D major scale, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp. Then we're back to D. The 7th note, the C sharp, is always, no matter what scale we're in, what key we're in, the 7th note is 1 half step or 1 fret below your root note. So if you look at your root note in the key of D, you look at your root note, it's a half step down. It's 1 fret down. There's your C sharp. There's your D. In our D major chord, this is basically a D major triad because what we have here is a D, an A, another D, and an F sharp. So here's our 1, here's our 3, here's our 5. And this note here, which is another D, is not really adding anything except a bit of body. So there's our D major triad. If, however, we take this superfluous D on the B fret, on the B string, 3rd fret, and move it down, like I said, we were moving down a half step when we get to our major 7 note, which is the C sharp. If we move that note down, this is a D major 7. Now a major 7 chord is a D major triad with that major 7 note in there. An unaltered, a natural major 7 note. D major 7. There's our major 7. If we take that 7 and we flatten it, that is drop it down by 1 fret, now we've got a D7 or a D dominant 7. D7 and D dominant 7 are the same thing. So even that took me a while to understand because I would see D7s and I would see D dominant 7s and I would think, well, what's the difference? There is no difference. 7 is dominant 7. It means flat 7. in a major chord because you've got this major 3. If you flatten your 3 from a D chord, if you flatten your 3, take it down to F instead of F sharp, you've got a D minor chord. The same thing happens with your D7. If you flatten that 3, you've got a D minor 7. So straight away we've got D, D major 7, D7, D minor 7. There are other voicings here which we can talk about, but that's going to be in the next video. In the meantime, this is what we need to get our heads around, because these shapes can now move up and down the neck and give us voicings for any major 7, minor 7, or dominant 7 chord we need. By taking this D chord, and I'm sure a lot of you already know this, by taking this D chord and moving it up the neck, let's change our fingers, right? From 1, 2, 3 to 2, 3, 4, and move it up. Move it up 1 fret. Now you've got to move your open D string up as well, so you can use this first finger, which is now free, to fret strings 1 through 4, or strings D, G, B, E. Now you don't technically need to fret the other 3 strings, but you definitely need to fret the D string. I find if you fret everything, it makes pressing these notes down just that bit easier. So now you've played your D and you've lifted it 1/2 step, which gets you to a D sharp or an E flat, whichever way you want to talk about it. So there's your D sharp, there's your E, there's your F, there's your F sharp, there's your G. Okay, let's stop at G and let's do that thing where we go D major, G major, sorry, did I say D major? G major, G major 7, G7, G minor 7, which is a little bit tricky. You might need to use your fingers to change them around a bit. G minor 7. You actually don't need the D string, but just remember, if you play those chords like that without the D string, you're playing the voicing without the root. So there you have it. Simple, easy, 7th shape chords. And now you understand that there is major 7 chord, which has a major 3 and a major 7 note, or a natural 3 and a natural 7. Minor 7 chords, which are a flat 7 and a flat 3. And dominant 7 chords, which are a flat 7 and a major 3. Those 3 types of 7 chords are your basic 7th chords, and they should get you around a whole lot of songs when you run into that lovely 7 symbol. Major 7, dominant 7, minor 7. And there are, of course, other voicings, other chord shapes that we can use, but D is just a really great place to start. If you want to do it with your A major chord, your 7th note comes on this G string. So your becomes, for an A major 7, A7, A minor 7, E, E major 7, E7, E minor 7, and so on and so forth. So you can use these voicings anywhere you can figure them out, move them up and down the neck, have some fun with it, and tune in next week where we're just going to poke a little bit further into our 7th chords and learn a little bit more. Hope that was helpful. See you again soon.